know what you want and believe that you can and will get it.
Your time is limited.
Always keep going.
You quit on me! Keep going! You keep going!
What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another video here on the Fortitude Investing channel. I just want to get this out of the way. First and foremost, just with the XRP ETF filings to the SEC. With the government shutdown, we don't have any way for these to get pushed through. So they're kind of on a hold until the shutdown is figured out. So once the shutdown is done, then these will start getting approved. Again, so we do have, it looks like through Bitwise is the 22nd, Canary Capital the 23rd, 21 shares the 19th, Wisdom Tree the 24th, Grayscale the 18th, CoinShares 23rd, and then Franklin Templeton will be in November. And we already have a few of these already online, and there's more. But these are just kind of the bigger ones. But more than anything, these ETFs will not really be taken care of until the government can figure their stuff out. So more than anything, I just wanted to show that really quick. Just kind of explain what was going on and why these ETFs are going to get continuously delayed again and again and again. Also, just to put this out here, with the SEC changing the way that they're filing stuff to make it, so that basically they can get any ETF they want pushed through less than 90 days. Just goes to show you that, there's somebody's boss's boss manipulating and saying, hey, this is what we want. More than likely, you're going to see bigger asset managers, whether that be Fidelity, BlackRock, or even Vanguard, looking into more Bitcoin, ETH, and XRP ETFs. And even possibly Solana as well. I don't know necessarily anything about that, but one could only speculate. I want to get back a little bit more and just kind of get a little bit more in depth on yesterday's video with Michael Saylor. It is a little bit confusing, and maybe I didn't do the best job, so I want to get a little bit more in depth of what Saylor was talking about. So Saylor's idea behind his strategic Bitcoin reserve is that he wants to have however much, I think he said $1 trillion of initial Bitcoin. Just like that's the base layer of how much they want to hold in their strategic reserve. And from there, they want to be able to loan out money, digital money, from that $1 trillion of Bitcoin, which is, I believe that they crossed over 640,000 Bitcoin. To be able to, continue to make money in their business. So they believe that through the equities market, that they will be able to, take their Bitcoin and produce digital money, because it's the exact same way that they did it in before 1971, where the dollar was backed by gold, and they were, gold-backed dollars, notes, and for every dollar there was, a certain amount of gold. So more than anything, this is very, very similar to what was already going on, except now it's with Bitcoin. I think it's a great idea. I think that, Saylor knows exactly what he's doing, and looking back in the next 10, 15, 20 years from now, I'll be like, yeah, that was definitely the right way to do this. That was the move. Saylor knew exactly what he was doing. Let's see. So yeah, digital equity engineered to outperform underlying assets through conservative leverage and tenure management. If I want to create a company that is going to perform 2x Bitcoin, I take Bitcoin, I issue Bitcoin backed credit, create digital equity, and the digital equity outperforms the underlying capital asset. So all that means is that, when he creates that money, it's not 1-to-1 backed necessarily. It may be 5-to-1 backed, and the interest that he's going to make on that is going to be more money in his pocket. So if it's 5-10% on the interest, that he can continue to make more money. So if I have one Bitcoin at $100,000 and I take that Bitcoin and I still hold on to it and I create digital money from that, and I have, say, $50,000, so 50% of that Bitcoin, and I start loaning that out to two different, or to a company, and I charge 5% interest back on that money. So I get my $50,000 back plus another 5%. So the 5%, if I do this, 5 times within a year, that would be 25% more revenue of interest that I bring back, because he's talking more of a short term, um, but that would be 5% of that money. So I've made 25% already on top of, if Bitcoin has gone up by 50% the last 10 years, I just made 75% of my money with just literally creating money out of nothing backed by Bitcoin. And that's how they're going to make money. So it's as simple as, you know, we're in a fiat based currency that's backed by trust, which is ridiculous. And I'm not going to get too much into the weeds, but it's fake money. That's all it is. So it's not backed by anything. It's literally backed by the government, their trust. So we have to trust that they're not going to print too much money. Sailor's idea is I can use my Bitcoin that I've already bought and I can start loaning that out just like the banks. Make a better return for myself and for the customers. Everybody makes money, and Bitcoin continues to keep going up. So this goes to show you that this is why big banks are so scared right now with what's going on, because they know that this is their biggest competition. Is, you know the pitch to savers is equally blunt. The better bank. Bitcoin will be the better bank, where you're getting, you get 0% in your checking account. And I mean, the most I've heard of in some savings accounts is 4%, but most savings accounts, normal, are not even a percent. They're like half of a basis point. So if he's, doing these short-term bonds, and the yield is, at 500 basis points, 5%, who wouldn't want that? So he thinks that, again, there's going to be a lot of demand for, borrowing against his Bitcoin, making that digital money, and he makes money, and so does everybody else. I mean, this dude's a freaking genius. He's a visionary. He understands money a lot better than I do. But I mean, I'm always trying to learn as much as I can and study this dude and really get a good grasp of the more use case than just a store of value for Bitcoin. Because at the end of the day, if all it ever is a store of value, I mean, it's important, but you know, the reason why it's a store of value is because we have a fiat currency. And when the inflation continues to keep going up, it's a fight against inflation. That's really all it is. So more than anything, I just want you to know the reason why Bitcoin continues to keep going up is because inflation continues to rise. The more money we print, the higher up everything's going to go, the more value that it's going to have. I'm going to show you this really quick. All the money printed 2000s. This is super interesting. I'm going to look for a chart here. I have to type in chart. It's a really terrible picture. Like, why can't I even get anywhere close to seeing that? During the quantitative easing period of 2021, production reached the third highest level in the last 2 decades. They printed 20% of all the money supply. Oh, here we go. Maybe I need to put in the United States. Maybe that will help. Yes, this is a great chart. So if you look here in 2020, right when COVID happened, you can see the amount of printing and quantitative easing. So we have a crisis, we have COVID, everything shuts down. What do? They print the ever living crap out of the dollar. This was back in 2008, and this is how much they printed after the financial crisis. You go from 1,000 to about 2,200. We go from 4,000 to 7,000. So it's like almost double the amount that we did back in the financial crisis. This goes to show you that any crisis that will ever happen from now on, they're going to continue to print ridiculous amounts of money. We may have something that happens and COVID's going to look like nothing when it comes to printing money. Again, this goes to show you why when you print all this money, since COVID, Bitcoin was at a couple $1,000. Now, and I'll show you this. If you look what happened since COVID, well, I'll tell you exactly what happened since COVID, right? This is the dip here where we went from 10,000 down to like what, 4,000. So we go from right when they start printing money, 4,000, bam, basically 124,000. So you add on $120,000 to Bitcoin. I mean, this just goes to show you that when you print money, of course it's going to go up, but so is the inflation. So, yes, Bitcoin is a store of value, but at the end of the day, it's always going to continue to keep going up as long as they continue to keep printing money. It's that simple. That's why Sailor being able to do the digital, making digital money backed by Bitcoin is the same way that we had, gold noted or gold notes, the money, just regular money backed by gold. So I do think that this will be good for everybody. This will be good for finance. So again, I'm going to keep going more into depth. I'm going to make another video tomorrow about it, and just focus a little bit more on this because this is a deep topic. There's a lot to cover, and I don't have always the time to be able to cover as much as I want. But I hope that that kind of cleared up for a little bit more from the last video as well. So thank you guys for stopping by and watching and listening. Please like and subscribe on the video. Tell me if there's anything that you'd like to hear, learn, or know in the comments section. I'd really appreciate that as well. So thank you guys for watching. I'm out. Peace.